A murder case that didn't get solved from the 1970s. Now, the reason this is being brought up is because someone brought it up to me, number one, Starless Mystery. Next. It is weird, so here we go. 1975, North Carolina, Statesville, and also an adjoining area. By the time these two incidents I'm going to bring up came up, there had already been 11 homicides. This is the 1970s. Okay? September 6, 2 kids, 15 and 17, were walking home from a party and were kidnapped from a Fourth Creek Bridge on Broad Street. Both girls were attacked and left for dead. Only one survived. The victim described her suspect as a black male, but not the same as the next person. Definitively not identified as being associated with it. September 19th, X number, like 2 weeks later, the body of a black man was found wrapped in a blanket with the first joint of every finger removed to get rid of the fingerprints. Had been beaten, shot twice, stabbed in the head, burned, and found wrapped in a blanket in a fire pit. Or that's presumption anyway. This is the hard part. That part isn't really showing up. Also, it should be pointed out the obviousness of removing the fingertips and doing other things to it. But the face didn't get burned because of the way the body had been wrapped up either before or during the process of trying to incinerate it or transport it. Don't really know everything about it yet. He was wearing blue Pro Keds tennis shoes, which were very popular at the time, a white t-shirt or something similar to it, Seafarer blue denim trousers, which are also very popular, but also had been used previously by military people. Just generally something they could get easily. A metal belt buckle, and had a lower right abdomen scar or cut that could have been a modified hernia operation or a modified appendix scar. There are procedures similar to these, so I don't know. Not much details about that. He had professional dental work. Medical examiner believed he might have been a military connection due to this, and he was later cremated and buried at sea, but that was also just traditional for everybody at the time. It was easy to get rid of them that way. Cremation and dumping at sea, if you're near a coastline, is pretty easy. That was something they did, but that was for John Does. That was what was said, at least the cremation part. The burial at sea does strongly indicate that they assumed he was a Navy person at that point. Some thought he may have been killed because somebody might have assumed that he was the person responsible for the other attack, and they just didn't get the information. Also, it should be pointed out that it happened not necessarily nearby, but both attacks, both people, would require someone to have knowledge of the area, most likely. Military men like the feeling of being clean-shaven is the assumption people make. That's not necessarily true if you look at the average ex-vet, but currently, the Army, Air Force, and police only allow the wearing of well-trimmed mustaches that doesn't grow over the upper lip if you have the rank of captain, on the basis of hygiene. But the real reason, even though people protested it desperately, was in World War I, gas mask policies required that you have a tight-fitting mask, and the mustache was excluded because it would not let you get a decent gas mask seal over your face. So any beard or mustache, any hair on the face was removed. Now, you might not notice this, but sometimes you'll see a video where I haven't shaven. But I'll bring up something. The U.S. Coast Guard allowed beards until 1986, and after 1970, Chief Naval Operations explicitly authorized beards for active duty people. So this is during a period of time where this person could have been an off-duty or shore-leaved military person in 75 and have a full beard. They were already implicitly allowed based on previous policy changes by a predecessor, but that was only in the Navy. You didn't have to earn some rank that would allow a minimal mustache. Also, the Navy is not notorious for needing to use gas masks or anti-tear gas masks. Police, Air Force, all sorts of military people, especially the Army, maybe, but the Navy not so much, it seems. Next, I'm going to bring up a condition I share with some people with curly hair, especially black men with curly hair. It's called pseudofolliculitis, or folliculitis. Barbie. Razor bump. Shaving causes infection, and I suffer from this. It's one of the reasons I don't shave. When I do shave, I have to shave very carefully, and I have to dry shave. It's a weird thing, but if I use shaving cream or whatever, it amplifies the infection potential. This is the reason I'm literally a germaphobe. I don't have a choice because I don't want my face grafted again. So anyway, let's get on with this. Muslims can avoid shaving, so some get a deferment when on duty for religion or for the medical reason I brought up. And a lot of black guys I know have the shaving bump problem. What they do is they keep the beard shaved to exactly 1 or 2 millimeters high by using a trimmer. This allows them to have almost the same benefits. Some men, myself included, have actually explored having, especially if we go bald, having the facial hair removed and not using electrolysis, but having it transplanted to the top of our head, which would be goofy looking. This only happens if we shave. That's the reason I don't shave my head, because it would be much cleaner and safer for me to shave everything. I can't. I'm medically not able to do it. And I had a medical deferment at one point at a job I had that said you can grow a beard or mustache of minimal length. I just kept it trim. I used one of those trimmers. This is actually a common enough problem I've run into with at least 20 people. It doesn't matter what the color of skin is. And also, again, even then, even if they didn't want to do it, for religious reasons, you could just say, I'm a Hasidic Jew, I do not want to shave my face. I will not volunteer. They got people to volunteer for the military for doing that. And I also like to point out a long tradition of letting Sikh warriors do any damn thing they want to, because, well, don't piss off a Sikh, let's just put it that way. But anyway, this all happened east of Statesville on a road that starts 500 feet southwest of Moxville Highway 64 and Interstate 40 junction. It was a then dead and unpaved rural road 2209, or Campground Road. It starts southeast, it starts going southeast, and then turns north to Midway Family Campground, near the Davie County line. He was 500 feet from that county line, at exactly specific location on the left or left-hand side or north side of the rural road, at a very specific location, because if you look at the turn, it turns and goes north. That's almost exactly the county line. So there's this range of maybe 20, 30 feet. This is an unusual thing to be able to get because a person on YouTube preserved some of the story information about this, and I'd like to have the full link to that by the way. In the 1990s, 1993, etc., the site was turned into a tree farm, one of many, many times it has been altered. If you go by the location, it is not in the condition it was originally. The road and county line roads match pretty closely, and yes, I literally found a website with really old maps of the area. They're very, very grossly done. I even found a map from the 1880s showing the trail that represented to go to that area. Basically, roads in some cases were put on old road trails. It was more prominently known as being North or South Fork roads for something, not a campground road. The person who found the corpse was a truck driver for a gravel moving activity that day. But because he was 500 feet south, 500 feet away from the county line, and this road is only X number of feet long, and the county line crosses at a specific point, I was able to find plus or minus 20 feet where the body was found. So there's a map below. You can link it, and you can look at that section of the road and maybe identify it. Currently, there's a building and a bunch of other things, but it would have been almost exactly dead in the middle of the space between both ends of the road where you would have the least likelihood of being seen. The worst place on earth to be if you're doing something is in an intersection. The best place is between intersections, preferably on a curved road. The area lacks curved roads as much as you might think they might be there. And you can create a curved road effect by just pulling off to the side of the road. As for it being a fire pit, official or otherwise, or a campground fire pit, couldn't find any evidence of that actually at all that was repeatable. Most of the sources here are old newspaper articles that were reproduced later. The person or persons who killed this man would likely have had to go in, do the crime, and then turn around and leave the same way they came in, placing them back on Moxville Highway. But see also that there was a prison camp number 902, indicated in 1972, in the area, or something around then. Almost exactly a quarter mile into Davies County. Don't know. Now I'm going to give an opinion. So we're at the 10-minute mark here. This is my opinion. Number one, this was hard to locate. Number two, the website that somebody had that had all this information had at one time maybe a bunch of links. I need the links. I can go dig them up. I'm good at that. Next, what caliber and type of bullet? That was never indicated. That's very unusual in a case. That would indicate that they could not figure out what it was, but there was also a statement on one of the pages that they found an empty casing. I'm sure it said someplace, but I couldn't find any references to it at all. If you came here looking for this, I'll try to include the case number, of all things, is available for this dead letter office case. It's over. The fingertips were cut off to get rid of the fingerprints. The face would have been burned off and the jaws ripped out, or teeth smashed, to destroy the ability to reproduce the information. Or they knew that there would be if they knew the person well enough, they might know that there's nothing about the teeth that would be on record anywhere, meaning it was dental records that were very recent from somewhere that doesn't provide them. That means go to Mexico, get your teeth done somehow very expertly, or Europe. Next, again, the guy being not clean-shaven does not exclude him from the military, but it may indicate that he had a deferment of some sort, most likely medical. And this was at the point where people really did recognize this as a medically dangerous condition for someone to have, especially at sea. And also, if you were in the Navy, you were allowed to wear a beard. I remember very distinctly when I was a kid knowing that. Okay, somebody made a joke about the village people and, and like, why does he get to wear a beard and the other one gets a mustache? And one of my friends is like, I've been in the Navy, you can wear a beard these days. They passed the rule recently. I was a young kid at the time. Didn't know what it was about. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And I don't have any more information, but I have the links to all of it that you might be missing if you came here looking for this.